guys, happy Soul Sister Saturday. This is Dana and I'm here to help you guys on your path to challenges and obstacles in your life that keep you from being fully happy and that keep you from being who you truly are. So I talked with a lot of you this week. It was so cool. A lot of you connected with me via Skype. It was the first time I ever did any kind of Skype talk. We can change the world towards more peace and love by me sharing with you how worthy you are and how I really want you to learn to be who you authentically are. I had a girl write to me last week who said that her true self is similar to me and Amy. I've had a few people say that, like just really kind of naturally minded, wanting to eat vegan, tree hugger type of people, people that respect animals and other people, and people that want to spread peace and love, but their parents think it's weird. They think it's like really hippie-ish. And people kind of judge people like us. People judge and categorize people who are doing something on the more peaceful kind realm as being hippies. I've never identified with being a hippie, ever. I don't even look at myself like that. In fact, that label always had kind of a negative connotation to it until I came in contact with you guys. Like, you celebrate peace and love and being a hippie. So I think I'm more of an alternative, more modern hippie, I guess you could say. But a lot of you are really gaining more inner power, and your souls are able to really express themselves, and you could be who you really are. One thing that really surprised me with these Skype calls, and I swear I could cry even telling you, was how much they are helping. I mean, you get the comments on the videos and they're awesome, but to really connect and hear and look in your eyes and just hear how much it's helped is mind-blowing. This one boy that I talked with on the video, he said that he was being bullied, and that stopped since he learned some things that I was saying, and I got so choked up. I'm like, Joe, you have to hear this. Like, this is really working. It's really helping. So I have a new responsibility, a new level of responsibility, that this is very important and it's spreading fast. This mindset of respect, peace, and love. So why don't we jump right in? My heart and soul is connecting with you and supporting you on this path, and I know you're all in a different place with it. So when I talk, though, I want you guys just to take what works and leave the rest. Some things I say might be new to you. Some things I say might sound a little weird because maybe you've never heard them before. But at least when you watch the videos and you watch this series, you're going to gain some little spark of insight or interest to be able to apply to your own life. So don't think that you have to do everything I'm saying by any means. I want you guys to be free thinkers. I like to think of the show as like the grocery store policy. When you go into the grocery store, the supermarket, you don't buy one of everything in the store. Like, nobody could do that. It's crazy. You take what you need and you leave the rest. And that's exactly what I want you to do with this show. I'd love for you to use it as a resource. Things that kind of appeal to you or things that you can resonate with or understand, take that information, but you don't have to agree with everything I'm saying. In fact, I really don't want you to. I'd rather you find your own truth. And so that's what this is all about. Respecting who you are on this path of truth, your own truth. And the way you experience this kind of information is going to be different for everybody. But all in all, the love that you guys showed to me when I called on Skype blew my mind. All right, the first question, it says, "Hi Dana, I'm having problems with exams. I have a big exam coming up and I'm so nervous about it. I feel pressured and worried that I'll let someone down. Thanks." Okay, now I remember well being in school and knowing that I was only really accepted or even loved when I was doing what other people wanted, when I was making other people happy or pleasing the teachers. It was the only time I really felt good about myself, because just cultural conditioning. And just to explain what cultural conditioning is, every culture has certain values and morals and things that they instill upon the members of that society. Some of them I think that are around today are false and really damaging. And one is that you are only lovable when somebody approves of you and when you're doing something to please other people. Well, the stress that this girl feels about exams, now listen, there's nowhere in here that she even mentioned or has anything to do with learning, right? This isn't even about learning for her. Well, isn't that what schools are supposed to do? This is supposed to be about learning, but it's not in our culture. If you're passing exams just to not let anybody down, to feel whole and lovable, I really would reevaluate your intention and purpose for even taking the exam. If you get a bad grade, don't take it on too much. Understand that maybe you had a bad day, maybe you couldn't remember everything, and you will be blown away when you get older and you see that learning is easy when it's something you want to be learning about. I can't even imagine having to learn or being forced to learn something that interested me not at all. if my husband handed me a book about car mechanics and said, learn everything, there'll be a test on Friday. It'd be drudgery. So when it comes to topics in school that you're not interested in, it's not your fault if you don't do well. It's not something you want to learn. And forced learning is being put upon you at that moment, which I feel is very unjust. So remember what you can and whatever you can't. The grades tell you nothing as to how intelligent you are. Grades tell you nothing as to how worthy you are to be on this earth making a difference. So not everyone's meant to learn the same things in life, guys. And I'm sorry that it's put upon you that love and self-approval is really conditional on your performance. The only person you really have to worry about letting down is yourself. That if you're constantly chasing approval, you'll never really be happy. So there comes a time where you accept everybody else having the freedom to feel what they want about you. And I first heard the quote by an author called Wayne Dyer. He said, "It's none of my business what others think of me." Sit with that for a second. It's none of your business what your teachers and parents think of you. It's really not. It's their business. The only time you should really be worried about anything is your own self-love. So people your whole life are going to judge you and grade you and measure you against everybody else, but that's not what life's about. I'm really sorry that you're so focused, because others have forced you to be, on grades and performance. But if you can take a deep breath and just be light about it. I know you don't have a choice. You have to do these things right now in your situation, but be light about it. And what I mean is, don't take it all so seriously, guys, really. You're faced with finals, exams, and standardized testing and all that kind of stuff. It's put to you in such a way that it's like life or death. Like, it's like, if you don't pass these amazing tests, you will be a failure for life. It'll go on your permanent record. It's all a lie. There is no permanent record. It's something people are telling you to get you to do what they want, to get you to obey them. Now, I want you guys to think about it right now. With your subjects in school, what are the easiest subjects for you? Think about it. It's the ones you enjoy and the ones you love learning about, and that's the only reason they're easy. Everything could be easy. You're not stupid, but you're just not interested. And so a lot of us have been just pigeonholed into these situations where we think that we're really stupid about math or stupid about science or something like that. And it's only because you're not interested in learning about it at that time in your life. So it has nothing to do with intelligence. What you want to know about and what you want to learn about, you learn it, don't you? Like really well and really fast. So keep that in mind. So I'm really sorry that you're worried that you're going to let someone down, Sugar Pips, but don't worry. You will always let people down in your life. Yep, I said it. You will always let people down in your life, no matter what you decide, no matter if you get A's or F's, someone in your life is going to be let down. Now, how does that make you feel to hear that? Like, oh no, oh my gosh, how can I make everybody happy with me? Here is the reason why so many kids are depressed, suicidal, self-harming, and feeling totally hopeless. Because there's always someone to make you feel as though you're doing the right thing in life, and there's always someone to tell you that what you're doing is the wrong thing in life. That's life. You don't have to chase around looking for approval from other people anymore, okay? Your only thing you need to do is shift to inner self-love. And lay in your bed tonight and think to yourself, guys, what do I want to learn? Like, what do I want to know? What don't I care about? So when you're in these classes that are boring, trust me, it's 12 years of public school. I know how that feels when you're living by the clock and you're looking at your watch all the time, like, half an hour left of this class, or 10 minutes left of this class, and that bell rings and you just feel so free for the next couple minutes until you have to go sit down in another class that bores you to death. My favorite classes in school were home ec, which I don't know what they call it in the UK, but it was like cooking and sewing. Like, I loved those skills. They were so useful to me. I hated math. I hated pre-algebra. I had no use for it at the time. Later in life, when I had a use for it and I wanted to learn more, because I studied astronomy when I was in college, oh my gosh, it was so easy. It came to me because I found it useful with that kind of situation. So if you get bad grades in those certain topics, oh well, it's just the way it is. It's okay. It's not on your permanent record. It doesn't give you any kind of idea of who you are as a person. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It doesn't mean you're a bad learner. It doesn't mean you're not focused. It doesn't mean that you should be on drugs to help you focus more on something that you don't even care about. What it means is that you didn't have interest in that topic, and therefore, of course, you're not going to do well. You're not going to learn it. So I'm letting you guys all off the hook. Right now, you don't have to worry about those things. The funny thing about this is, like, I know that most of you watching can feel that in your soul. Like, you know that it's felt kind of wrong in these certain situations where you've been forced to study or take tests on things that you don't have any interest in. It's felt wrong on some level, but you've silenced that voice. And I'm here to awaken that voice and tell you that you are right. You are right. You might feel like the only person on earth that feels this way, in a sea of teachers and adults in your lives and parents who are like trying to get you to do better, and they rate you on this. But the truth is, you are right. It's not just to live in a system where you are forced, manipulated, coerced, graded, measured, and compared to other kids. Okay, so knowing all that, what do? How do you survive now, being part of this kind of mindset that most people are living in? I think that you can have a very evolved approach, and that's opening your heart to understanding that they have the best of intentions, that teachers and your parents have the best of intentions. They may have never heard of this perspective of freedom, and they may have never heard of the perspective of forced learning. So in some ways, you guys are going to know a lot more than the adults around you about what's just and what's unjust. And when you're sitting in that space, it can feel lonely. But I want you guys just to know that it's a dynamic that they're caught up in. They may never change, or they may, who knows. But things are changing really fast in the whole educational system. Most kids are learning that having the freedom to learn what you want is really where the best, most authentic learning comes from, and that you're not all meant to learn the same things in life. You all have strengths and passions that can change the world. In the meantime, when you do take a test and you get a bad grade, please know in your heart, it wasn't because you did anything wrong. It wasn't because you didn't study enough. It wasn't because you didn't try enough. It's not because you're stupid. Do not get in that blame game where you just turn it inward and all that pain stays within you. Just say, I'm not interested, and of course I'm not going to do well. You can do, be, and become anything you want in life, no matter what your grades are now. And I believe in you, and I know you can. Because when you want to do something and you want to become something, you do not have to go the traditional route that you've been told to go in to educate yourself. When you're forced to do things to please other people, and you're afraid of letting people down, everything becomes about fear. You can't learn well in a fearful state. You can't learn what these people want you to learn if you're scared of disapproval. So I'm telling you now that you are just as worthy, whether you get an A+ or whether you get a D or an F. You are just as worthy a human being. You are just as smart as anybody else based on who you are and what your path is and what you're meant to grow to be. What human being is meant to get grades that are good in every single subject? Some do. I'll tell you though, it's not easy for the overachievers in life either. You tend to try to live at that standard, and the pressure that you put on yourself for that is incredible. People that are getting grades that aren't so good are told in many ways that they're stupid or they're not worthy. And kids that are getting the best grades in the class are the ones that have all the pressure. So how do you survive in it then? You just take it all with a grain of salt. What that means is being light about it all. Don't be so caught up in that it's life or death, or that it's all as serious as the adults around you are making it out to be, because it's not all that serious. It is what it is. And in time, you're going to look back and say, wow, I wasted so much time worrying about what other people thought of me in my performance in school. I lost myself, and I lost all the fun that I could have been having if I had that self-love and I didn't rely on other people to tell me my greatness. That's what happens with grading and measuring kids, is that you lose the ability to trust yourself. You lose the ability to know who you really are because you've constantly been trained to look at others to tell you your greatness by a grade or whatever. So then you kind of look for it. Then you're hungry for approval. Something happens within that dynamic where all of a sudden you need that approval. You want that love. You want that acceptance because you've lost finding it yourself and knowing it within your heart. So I'm here to tell you that you need to rediscover that. You felt that way once. When you came into this world, you knew your greatness. When you were born into this world, you were perfect and whole, and you knew you didn't need other people telling you your greatness because it was self-intact. It was intact. It wasn't changed, and it wasn't warped because of other people training you to perform to meet their needs. This question turned out to be a pretty long answer, but I'm answering it because I think a lot of you feel the way most kids do. Whether you get good grades or bad grades, the whole dynamic kind of stinks because you're not doing what you want to be doing in your own life path. I want you guys to learn to rediscover that instinct, that inner voice that was silenced so long ago. Okay guys, well thanks for tuning in to this episode of Soul Sister Saturday. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you gained some kind of insight from it. I hope you felt supported and loved because I am sending you all so much love. I want you guys to feel it all week until the next episode. I know there's so many more questions that need to be addressed, and very oftentimes an answer to one question will be the answer to many that have been sent. So I know you guys gained some insight in a question that you maybe didn't even know you had, or a question that you may have asked I might have indirectly responded to. So I love you guys. I really do. I hope you can give somebody a smile that needs it, give somebody a hug, give somebody some encouraging words, and take all this support and spread it. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave it in the comment below. Suggest this series to teens or kids that you know are going through a hard time. Maybe I can help them. Maybe by watching they will get the answers they've been looking for. So subscribe if you haven't. Comment, please share your love, share your questions, share everything you want with me, either privately by emailing soulsisterhood@yahoo.com or putting it in the comment below. So thanks guys so much for your support. I hope to talk to some of you on Skype this week. Love you.